was at the beach party. What was this then? I think I was staying at one of somebody's friend's beach house, which was fun. It was really, 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 really fun. So, and I knew then that I liked to have things in my butt. Although I ran from that idea for a while. But anyway, what's the craziest sex that I've had? Oh, there's so many stories. Wow, I don't know how to go, but yeah, I have to say I've had quite a few fantasies that I've got to live out, which I have. That's the one thing I can say. I have no regrets when it comes to my sexual exploitations of myself. No regrets whatsoever. Anyway, it's too late to have regrets. It's already been done. So, no use to having shame about doing something that's already some past. So, so that's the one thing I can say about being in recovery. That when I came back this time, even though the first time I came in recovery, I didn't have any shame about the sexual stuff that I did. Shame about other stuff, but not sex. Because like I said, at the same time, I don't do anything I don't want to do. And there's things I was ashamed of doing that I wish I hadn't done. But when it came to sex, I didn't do anything that I didn't want to do. And if something didn't feel right or sound right, I didn't do it. I didn't do it if a guy had a fantasy about little boys that wanted me to be a little. Like, okay, no. It does those things. I signed out, got out real quick. Didn't sit well with me. Didn't feel comfortable with doing that. I wasn't into shitting, so if you asked me to shit, I was out. So no matter if I was high or not, I say no. So even then, when I was running around putting coke in my nose or smoking, I still didn't do anything that I did not want to do. I do believe eventually if I would have kept doing what I was doing, I eventually would have been doing things I didn't want to do. But I was still lucky enough to where I didn't do anything I didn't want to do. So I was still not at that cusp. But I do believe if I continued to do what I was doing, I would have went past that cusp and would have been doing a lot of things I didn't want to do to get high. But I was lucky enough I hadn't gotten there yet. I was still in that soft spot. So that was all due to just plain luck. And just my rock bottom being my rock bottom and not being like what it could have been. So it's all by the grace of God. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I would have never. I'm like, no. Because I did say I would never shoot up. And I did do that. A few times, which I'm surprised it never took, though. And I'll tell you why it never took. Because I never got to do the crazy shit that was in my head. It never worked out. And so I think by the fifth time, I was like, okay, this is never going to turn out the way I wanted to turn out. So I quit doing it. I quit shooting up. Because it was not going to turn out. And all 5 times that I had this fantasy of sex and all this stuff. And it never turned out to that. So by the 5th time, I was like, okay, this is a waste of time. Because I heard everybody who shot up was like, oh no, the sex is good and this and that. It's going to be crazy. And it never lived up to that. Matter of fact, I never was able to have sex because I was too much in my head. And so by the 5th time, I was like, okay, that's it. That makes no sense. I'm not doing that anymore. And I didn't do it anymore. Although I was still out there running. And when somebody would offer, like, no, nah, didn't work. Nah, I don't need to do it again. That was all by the grace. I don't know what that was, but that's just luck. That was just someone looking out for me. Because it could have been Yeah, when I sit here and tell that story, I'm like, wow, because I think about the young man who who the first time just took them deeper and deeper. And I did that 5 times, and it didn't take. It's like crazy, man. I just sit here and tell that story. I'm like, oh my God. It didn't take, and if it would have been what it was in my head, I can still see me still out there. That was just somebody looking out for me. That was God's hands in that madness. As much as his hands was there, his hands was in that madness. It's like the first time I'm not gonna be embarrassed. It's like the first time I tried crack. And I was like, okay. And I'll tell you what kept me from doing crack. Although I did do it a couple of times. But every time I would do it, I would just be sitting there in my head like, crack? I'm doing crack? I'm not a crackhead. I'm doing crack. I'm like, what? This is what in my head. I'm going, what? This is what I'm fucking doing? This is what I'm doing? You've got to be kidding. I can't tell somebody I'm a crackhead, but I can tell them I'm a cokehead. I can brag about being a cokehead. I can't brag about being a crack. And so by the 3rd time, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. This shit ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. So I never did it again. Because I just didn't like how it looked. Plus it had a smell to it. I didn't like the smell to it. And then I had Whitney Houston in my head. Crack is whack. So and then I remember telling somebody, and they was like, oh, you just didn't happen to good shit, because this shit, And I'm like, why beg the difference? I think the people who I was smoking with thought it was good shit. After a while, I was just like, no, I'm not going to be a crackhead. Not today. Not today. So after trying it for the 3rd time, I said, okay, this ain't that. This is not a good look. Well, let me say this. It wasn't a good look for me. Now, maybe other people can sport it very well. On other people, it is a look to achieve. It just was not the look I wanted on my resume. So, I put that down. I tried Oxycontin. I didn't see what the white folks saw. It just made you sleepy. I was like, bitch, I can sleep on my own. So that only happened once. I was like, nah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work for me. Nah, bitch. If I want to go to sleep, I'll just take my ass to bed. I was trying to stay up, not fucking sit around like I'm almost at the grave. Hell no, motherfucker. No. God, this crazy shit we say. There's just some madness. That is just fucking madness. Don't put things in your butt. I'm telling you. Don't do it. You can't go around putting things in your butt. Even if they ask you to. Don't put shovels in your butt. Don't put brooms. Don't put broomsticks. I remember my best friend, him and his boyfriend at the time, had sex, and they decided to have sex with a banana. And of course, the banana got stuck in his butt. And they almost had to go to the hospital, but no, they didn't. And I said, I want y'all to know if y'all would have called me from the hospital and told me that you had a banana in your butt, I was like, you wouldn't have been able to live it down. They couldn't, because every time I'm like, why in the fuck would you have sex with a banana? And then get this, it was unpeeled. They didn't even do it to banana in its, oh my God. Just absolutely nutty. You can't go putting things in your butt. You just can't. That's just not how it works. I'm telling you, fellas, don't put things in your butt. God. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, it was just crazy. When I was talking about the drugs, I just want to make sure I wasn't glorifying any because it's all a mess. I'm just talking about how those things could have been far worse because I heard about people trying one thing and I guess I had the two things that I tried that I took two right away is what I ran with. The other things wasn't meant for me. Although the other two is bad. But when I think about it, I just say, God, how lucky I was. Just how lucky. Just so fortunate. Just so fortunate. Yeah. 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 Sometimes I talk too much. Because the person I was having a crush on, or not even a crush, I can say it with confidence, who I'm madly in love with. I think I gave up too much information about big penises and stuff like that. Because I don't know anything about and I could be saying stuff that could be like, oh, well, that's not me. Well, I know he wouldn't be. I was like, and I'm like, I wish I would. But it's not true. I mean, it's not to say it's not. It's certain things. Yeah. But we're friends. I shared. Crazy. Which was But yeah, a good 8. I can speak to his bounce a good 8. I had sex over on my break with this young kid who was into me. When I say young, he was like 23, 24. And he wasn't. I think he was probably about an 8. And he was good. It was how do I say it? It went on for a while. It was like a bunny. He was like an energized bunny. Came 3 times. Pretty impressive. Not really. I knew what I was getting into if I was going to sleep with this young guy. And he was really into me sexually. So I knew if I decided to go there that it was going to be a long run. Because I remember I slept with a good little while ago, I slept with this, I think he was 20, young kid. And he can go, and I never lie about my age. They all know how old I am. And I remember we were having sex for hours and hours and hours on nothing. This is all natural. And I remember after a while I had to go, okay. And he was probably a good 8.5. Nice girth. And by then I would say, okay, I'm not going to be the wall. It was good. So a good 8 is just enough. A good 8. Good and a half is just enough. So yeah.